anybody else is going to come on. While we're waiting, my name is Ben Mohr. I run a company called Life Advisor Solution. What we do is help agents who are maybe busy in the insurance industry in different areas. Could be just any type of insurance, but mainly maybe IULs and annuities. Those are areas that I had worked a long time, the space I worked in. What happens is it gets to be a grind for a lot of every people. And what happens there is you start to look elsewhere to see what else is available. This is where we step in. We bring you into the world of alternative investments, where we show you that there are places that you probably with your client base and possibly with prospects have been overlooking areas where there is money for them to invest. And we help you with that plan, the marketing, the mentorship. I've been in this space for about 20 years, dealing with exactly what we're going to go over with today, which is what's called life settlements. I used to be a top producer in annuities and did some IUL, but mainly annuities. Would write maybe somewhere between $5 and $8 million in annuities a year. And was able to implement this into my practice and practically double my income in less than a year just by adding this into my practice, dealing with my annuity client base and prospects and bringing this product to market. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Today, what we're going to talk about are 3 ways to sell life and settlements to double your income in 2024. If you're definitely serious about this, I can help you double your income this year. One of those areas that's going to matter is that you will need some type of prospects in your own, or have a book of business. We're just going to stay straight out here because I don't want to waste anyone's time. If you're joining this meeting hoping that we have some kind of free lead system that we just give you leads, that's not going to happen here. The reason that's going to be is that I work with agents that are top producers. Just common sense tells you that any lead that comes in here, we're going to give to our top producers. Now, if you were producing with us over a long period of time, that would possibly be you, of course, as well. But I have a way to generate leads for you together with your information. Maybe you have a book of business, maybe you had a book of business, or maybe you have a sphere of influence, friends, family, whatever that is. We can help you work with that group of people to go out there and prospect. Okay, so here's the disclaimer. See if I can get this going. There you go. Obviously, you got to take this with a grain of salt. We're not tax people, we're not legal people, but anything that I'm going to show you today can be backed up by anything we have in writing, whether it's contracts for clients or yourself. So, these strategies here we're going to show you are tried and true, but the bottom line is, of course, I want to show you everything in writing after this. This is just kind of the elevator speech, if you will. After this, you can book a time to meet with me. We can do either a Zoom or just talk on the phone, or if you're in my area, I'm more than happy, if you're in Southern California, to sit down at a Starbucks, have a cup of coffee, get to know each other. This is a person-to-person business. So I definitely believe at some point, if you're going to work with me, I do want to meet face-to-face. I'm willing to come out your way, and sit down with you. Okay, so what is a life settlement? If you're unfamiliar, it's when a senior citizen sells their life insurance policy for cash. Disclaimer here. We are not looking to buy people's policies. This is going to be my first red flag to see if you are paying attention if we talk. If the first thing that you say to me when we talk is, hey, I have a client who I think might want to sell his policy, that's going to let me know that you 100% weren't listening to anything I said today. The reason I say that, I don't want to come off like mean, it's just I cannot tell you how many times I've had this discussion and then somebody comes back to me and says, hey, I've got a guy who I think wants to sell his policy. And I look at them and I go, look, we're selling here. We are selling. We are not buying. Okay. Think of it like this. Think of a sales agent in real estate. I have a house to sell. It would be like if you were living in a neighborhood and went up to a sales agent in front of a house and said, hey, I've got a guy who's looking to sell. Great. That's not what we're doing right now. I'm not looking to buy policies. We already have that set up. What we're looking for you is to help us find investors who want to buy into policies. Make sense? This is a life settlement, is a chance for you to take your investors that have bought maybe annuities, maybe IULs. They might have too much money in the market. Who knows? They might have an influx of cash. The bottom line is this isn't an alternative investment that they're able to have put that money in, maybe small pieces, tens, 20s, 30s, 40s, $50,000 at a time, where they can own life portfolios. The company we use is Equilife. They've been around for about 7 years, I think. Equilife owns a portfolio of life settlements. Okay. And then your clients can come in and own a fraction of those portfolios. By the end of today, you will get a follow-up on this recording, and also we will send you the brochure and the current offering for the company. I believe their current offering right now is offering an estimated 77% gain. So what that means here is if, let's say, your client invests $50,000, they're going to own $88,500 in death benefit on 5 different policies. That money is going to be splintered up into the different 5 policies. And then when that person passes away, your client gets paid on those deals. They get paid every single time someone passes away. They don't have to wait for the 5th person to pass away to get the 88.5. This money comes in chunks. Okay. So with that said, if you understand the basics of life settlements here, which is there's a portfolio of 5 policies, your client can come in and buy portions of those policies. You get a commission when they actually come in and buy. If you understand that concept, how do you sell life settlements? The biggest thing that I see for people who don't do too well in this industry is they're trying to they are trying to over explain and convince a client that they must buy this product. And what I say to them is, to me, that almost sounds like you're a defense attorney trying to convince a jury. That is never the way you want to sell life settlements. The reason there is it's not like you're trying to win an argument and will these people to do it. It doesn't give them a feeling that they have emotionally that they want to buy it rather than being convinced. You need to solution sell here. And the life settlements here actually fits a lot of those holes. For instance, a lot of things you can explain to people is this money is not going to be in the market, and this money is not affected by the economy. It's what we call a non-correlated asset, meaning that they actually own parts of somebody else's life insurance, and it has no correlation to anything that's going on in the world. Any election, any war, any downside of the economy, none of that is affected here. All you have is a portion of somebody's life insurance, and either they're alive today or they pass away. And when they pass away, you get paid. So the number one area that we see that is very good to deal with is qualified plans, IRAs, Roth IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, 457s, etc. Number one, your client can do contributions into this. If they're self-employed, this is great. We have a lot of self-employed people who are coming in. As you might know, this year in 2024, the maximum amount you can put into a SEP IRA, which is for someone who's self-employed, is $69,000. So they could put up to $69,000 in here. They get that deduction on their taxes. They're moving this money away from the market and then putting it in a place that makes money differently than anything else they own. Okay. We also have Roth. So if somebody has an old Roth or they want to make a Roth contribution, if they have an old 401k, 403b, 457, this is an area where they could move some money. If they have a very large IRA or Roth sitting over, say, at Schwab or Fidelity, where it's completely exposed to the market, maybe you can splinter off a little bit this year, come back next year, do the same thing, 25 or 50 here or there. One of the areas we call is orphan accounts. A lot of times when I'll do a review with somebody, I'll notice that they have an old 401k with 22,000 or 18,000 just sitting over here in the corner that they're not monitoring. That is money that we could actually have a discussion on with them. As I mentioned, the large accounts. And then the other thing is, if you ever want to book a time with me, a lot of people don't understand how Roth conversion works. I would consider myself an expert in this field. What we're able to do there is, imagine if you can get a self-employed person to want to commit to this plan, I can show them how they can do small conversions year after year after year. And by doing them, especially if they're self-employed, a self-employed person on a Roth conversion plan, we can pretty much do this to where a decent amount of their money in retirement is going to be tax-free. And realistically, they barely had to, if at all, pay taxes on the situation because it's going to be a wash. I'll show you how that's done. Roth conversions for somebody who isn't self-employed, we can work that as well. They'll internally pay the taxes on the money they move over, and they're going to see that that money really belonged to the government anyway. That was never their money. So we give the government their money now in small chunks over the next 10 years, and then diversify away from all their other risk by putting small chunks of their money into life settlements. And I can do this whole plan for them. I can do the actual presentation as your Roth expert. You just bring them to the meeting and I help you close. Now, we always say cash is king. We run into a lot of people who've either hoarded money or they recently sold a house and they just got a ton of money sitting over in the corner here, not sure what to do with it. They don't really want to put it in the market with what's going on in the world today. You know, they don't like the fluctuation. So if they have money sitting in the bank, you can let them know, look, there's no growth there. They're not outpacing inflation. And the minimum here is a $10,000 investment. So, you know, we have guys and gals who work with us who literally every time we get a new round, which we usually get a new round of investment about every 3-4 months, all they do is just bang their phone tree and go, hey, I've got a new round. And they're able to gather maybe 10 or 20 people to want to just do a $10,000 investment. And it works out very, very well. I've got a guy here. If you look at this, he has, you know, there's about 40K that he gets per person per round. That's about, now they own about 20 policies. So if you understand, somebody comes in, he calls one of his clients, every single round they do about 10,000. So the person invested 40,000 a year. And what's great about this is it's real diversified because they're owning 20 policies with their 40 grand. That's a great way to do it. That's a great way to spread out any risk. Okay. So let me show you an example. This is from an agent I work in Northern California. He has about 400 prospects. I would say about 3/4 of them are client base, and then the rest are prospects as far as people who he just knows in general. He goes and sends out, we have postcards. He has a phone call system that we do for him, and emails and texting. I'd say about 7%, 5 to 7% of his clients actually come along and say, yeah, I want to invest. So that's 28 clients out of the 400. Each of them drop in about 10,000 a piece. He's funding about 280,000 per quarter. And so he's writing about $1 million in business, literally probably working 2 weeks out of those time. So imagine that we come out and say, hey, here's a new portfolio. He works his butt off for 2 weeks with these people and then gets it all funded and we don't talk to him for probably 2 more months after that. He doesn't want to be, he just wants to know when's the next round. And in those next round, he's going to go out there. What's great about this on cash deals is he can have them literally go to their bank and wire the funds in. Everything is DocuSign. Okay. So all he's doing is phone calls, some Zooms. And what's great about this is the first sale to these people will be the hardest because they have to get used to the process and understanding. But once they're in as an investor, he can just call them and say, we have a new round. He sends them a portfolio and it's just a yes or no. If it's a yes, they already know the situation. Either they can mail the check out, right, to him and he sends it in. They can go down to their bank and do a wire, which we take care of the fees. And then it's a DocuSign, right? So it's literally a 1-day process. Matter of fact, I just did one on a person. The intake forms were sent in on Monday. This is Wednesday. The funds with DocuSign was just signed today. Tomorrow, they're going to wire the funds out. And by Monday, the whole thing will be wrapped up and the agent will be paid. It's that simple. Okay. Part 3, unhappy annuity clients. This is where if you are in the annuity space or at all understand the annuity space, I'm not against annuities. I think they have a great place if they're used correctly. The problem is that most agents don't. They just, what we call, have annuity breath. It's just they want to sell it to get the big commissions. And the problem that a lot of people will have with when they buy an annuity from someone who was a bit speculative is that person disappears. They're not going to help you maintain the annuity. It leaves the client with a bitter taste in their mouth because they feel they're seeing low returns. They feel they're stuck in something with a long surrender, and now they see no way out. Well, we're going to show them with our life settlement program, there is a way out. If they want to do a full surrender, we have a solution. And they can also use 10% free withdrawals as well. to make this happen. This is where you become a hero rather than somebody who just comes in with the next same old, same old. I would have a lot of agents come to me and say, look, the problem that I have is I sit down with somebody with some 8, 10 year surrender. I can't get them out. The surrender is too big. It's not suitable to move into another annuity. Well, now I let them know that this, if you walk in the door and do this correctly, this is a easy sale and it's a win-win for everybody involved because it's going to get the client out of the annuity. Here's how it happens. John Smith, a client, you sit down with him. He has a $250,000 annuity in an IRA. The anniversary date on it's July 1st. Okay. Well, today, literally today, you can tell him you can move 10% of that annuity out and move it into a self-directed IRA, which we set up, and then they can purchase life settlements. Now, on the 2nd of July, the day after their anniversary, they can move approximately another $25,000. The client now has $50,000 invested in 10 different policies, so more diversification for an ownership death benefit of, let's say, $87,000, $88,000, right? Out of the annuity, it was reduced by 20%. So you took care of slight part of the problem. $1 out of $5 is now in less than a year out of that situation. And by the way, you let the client know you can come back next July and do the same thing. Now 30%, now the next year 40% if you want to, okay? That they're at least diversifying some of the money out of the annuity. That is true diversification. And what's great about both the annuity and this product is that it's neither in the stock market. So there's no stock market risk on either side. Now, of course, some annuities have guarantees and no risk, right? That is not the case here. Longevity here is the risk. The issue here, however, is that they have a potential to probably make a higher return here and possibly get some of the funds earlier than they would with the annuity because of maturities. Okay, so this is just another way to diversify away from whatever else they have, right? Diversify their risk. Now, annuity replacement, we have a plan where, let's say somebody goes, I hated this person who sold this to me. I feel duped. I want out. You have a solution here. Here's how it works. This could get a little confusing for you. If that's sign up, we'll walk through this until we'll go over and over and over until you finally get it, right? I love to teach people how these things work because I know that you'll get it at some point. This is just our kind of introduction. So I don't expect you to fully get it. Let's say John now has a $100,000 annuity and his surrender value is $90,000. Makes sense, roughly about 10%, right? Well, in a regular deal, if we said, hey, in a regular deal with Equilife, it's 75% return, let's say, if somebody came in and wrote a check for $100,000, they're going to get $175,000 worth of death benefit again on 5 policies, right? That is the regular deal. And we're going to show John Smith that. If you came in here today and your annuity value was really 100,000 and you just wanted to get out of it and you gave us 100,000, you're going to get 175 death benefit or 5 policies. Problem is, he goes, I can't do that because the moment I surrender this, I only get 90K and I don't want to take the $10,000 loss. We go, we understand that. So what we're going to do for you, as long as he shows us a current statement and we verify on a 3-party call with the annuity carrier what his current situation is what he says it is, we will now give him a bonus in death benefit, meaning that when he invests the 90,000, he still gets the same death benefit he would have gotten on a $100,000 deal. So he's getting the same purchasing power. Okay. Now, legally, we can't pay his surrender fees. That's illegal. And we haven't here. Okay. There's a disclaimer form that he needs to sign. There's a very simple, just like your replacement form and annuity replacements, he's doing the same thing here, explaining that he knows he's going away from annuities. He knows he's going away from their potential situation where they have guarantees, but that he doesn't want it anymore. And he's happy to leave. So he has signed that so that you know you are safe in the situation that he made this choice. You explained to him what's going on, and he's happy because his 90,000 now has a estimated value of 175 overnight. Most likely he's going to get most or some of that money paid to him before he would on the annuity. And he's just moved away from a situation he's not happy with. So if you know anybody out there that you've talked to in the last year that has an annuity and wasn't happy, or you start feeling out with people you know that they're not happy about their annuity, we can set up a time to go over this with them and you. Okay. Now, For those of you who come on and sign in and start doing some deals with us, we have a marketing program. This is where we're very good. There is no upfront cost. Okay. The best prospects for you are IRA annuity holders. Okay. Transfers because they are non-taxable. They're a non-taxable event, right? Not concerned about liquidity as well because they know it's in an IRA. Our marketing firm contacts your clients for you. Customized postcards, emails, texts, Zooms, and then phone calls. It's a whole plan. And if you're doing well enough with us, we start doing dinner parties where we will put them on. I just did one in Irvine about 6 weeks ago between a multiple group of agents, about 5 agents. We had 120 people at this dinner, nice prime rib dinner on a Saturday night, 6 o'clock. We just do our kind of advertisement of this is what we do. We hand out the brochures, and then those are your clients that come with you. No one contacts them. It's a chance for you to then go home that week and talk to them about if they're interested, if you want to bring me on a Zoom or you want to have me meet with you and them. What's nice about that is when I go on the Zoom, they already know who I am because they saw me at the presentation, and I shake hands and say hello to everybody and goodbye and thanks for coming. So now it's more of a warm meeting. They go, oh, I remember Ben. I saw him at the dinner, right? Same thing here as Zoom. If you have somebody and then we need to go meet them face to face, not a problem. It's going to be a way for them to have a connection, personal connection with you and I when we're doing business. So the other thing is you can make passive income by giving us agent referrals. You get contracted with the company. You go ahead and you give us some referrals. We'll give you a 3% override on your downline agents. You don't have to deal with any FMOs. There's no agencies. You don't have to move any contracts, none of that. We're an independent agency here. Okay. You just come in, you sign up with the carrier, which is Equilife. You're done. There's no compete contracts, nothing like that. There's no BS. We can set up meetings with you and your referrals through phone calls, Zooms, lunches. They sign up, they write business, you get paid. Okay. What we're looking for is the introduction. It's that simple. Okay. Here's a success story. I have a guy that I call Mr. Utah. He used to write business here in Orange County. It referred us to 3 annuity producers in California. Those annuity producers let us market for them in the way of sending out emails, texts, Zooms, the whole 9 yards. The average sales per month were about 300,000, and Mr. Utah is up skiing in Utah, which is probably past that time now, but he's making on some months a passive income of $9,000. And all he does is come back maybe every quarter, and we have a lunch with each of these people, just making sure they're happy, and we do all the rest. So to recap, this is a great add-on product for you if you're selling other products in insurance, because I can tell you right now, you're missing money on the table 100%. We're going to show you where that money is and how you sell this product to those people based on where that money is. If it's in a Roth or an orphan account or cash accumulation or an unhappy annuity owner, all those types of situations, you just come at them as the different solution. Again, there's no market risk here. You're going to make double the commission rate here by selling this than annuities. I don't know if you know about the DOL situation that came out this week, but it sounds like they're going to start hacking away at annuity commissions. So if you're an annuity producer, I've got bad news for you. On September 23rd this year, that's going to go into effect. This is why this is something you want to jump on, because the money you're making in annuities are going to get slashed drastically, and it's time to come up with other solutions. You're going to do half the work, maybe a quarter of the work you would in annuity prospecting here. And then the marketing is pretty much customized for you. Okay. I'm going to open it up now to any questions that anybody has. Let's see here. Does anybody have any questions? Let's see. Q&A, I see one. My nature client base are Chinese speaking. Yes, Albert, we have a Chinese brochure. We have a lot of Chinese clients. By the way, I want to make sure I explain this to people is we have marketing in just about any language. Not only do we have it here, but I want to make sure people understand. You can sell this product in California to California residents only, and you need a life license in California to do so. We can also do business out of the country, okay? So the only area where it gets a little sticky is if you say, hey, I have a client in Illinois, I have a client in Texas. That doesn't work. they need to be a resident of California. However, if you have clients that live in China, live in Korea, live in India, live in Mexico, most likely we can get those deals done. Okay. It's a whole different situation. We can just go right down there. So Albert, who asked the question, if you have clients not only here, but in China, we have done deals in China. They will need a copy of their passport. I know that in China, they have their own version of a social security number. I believe it's like 14 numbers or letters. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then they will just have to make sure that they wire their money from the bank to the bank that we use. And then they sign their documents. Okay. So that's available. If you need stuff in Mandarin, we most likely can get you some stuff in Mandarin. Okay. But you know, it's yeah, we deal with people who speak all kinds of languages. We have a decent, you know, Korean base. We have a decent Chinese base. Obviously, Spanish speaking is a major issue in California as far as dealing with investors as well. So not a problem. Sorry about that. Does anybody else sell? Let's see if we have a couple of more questions. Yes, correct, Albert. Yeah. If you want to work outside of California, there's another way of doing it. We could talk about that offline. It has nothing to do with what we're doing here at LAS, but there are ways of doing it. It just is a different situation. So you could always set up a meeting and I could discuss with that as well. If you have a book of business outside of California, there is a way. You can't do it through Equilife. We'd have to go through another carrier. That's all it is. And then there's just more red tape because you're dealing with, you know, federal rules there. What's great in California is there's a Senate Bill 1837 that allows people with a life license to sell life settlements, but it's restricted just to California residents. Okay. They have to have a net worth of over $250,000. If it's 250,000 to $1 million, then you're looking at, you can put in 10% of their net worth. If it's over $1 million, technically they could do whatever they want, but we like to put a restriction no more than 20% of their net worth. And if they do that 20%, we would like to see it diversified into multiple portfolios if possible. Okay. Let's see if I have any other Q&A. I think that's it. Now what's going to happen is tomorrow or today, you will get a follow-up on this. There'll be this video. There will be the brochure, and then there will be the current portfolio. There will also be a link to a meeting app that you can just click on there and pick a date and time. And I'm, you know, even though we're doing Zoom here, I like to just have phone calls, get to know who you are, figure out what you're doing in your business, and see if we're a good fit. And would love to see if we could work together. Okay. So if that's it for everybody, unless there's any other questions, I'm looking, I don't think so. I do appreciate all of your time, and I look forward to hearing from each of you one-on-one and seeing if we can do some business in 2024. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good day.